My name is Patrick Duhan. I'm the Director of Expanded Learning here in Providence, working with both the Providence Public School District and the Providence After School Alliance, working together to try to create a new day for learning, where we're bringing together both in-school and out-of-school learning as a way to advance student achievement.
Expanded learning, in my mind, it's about being much more intentional about diving into learning, to solve problems, to use skills, test ideas, and to really do the hands-on work that teachers wish they had time for.
So what do you need to do to figure out how many feet?
Our students are disadvantaged in so many ways, including economic, socioeconomic, etc. And they don't have opportunities to really engage in learning, both academic and socially, outside of school.
All of the food that's grown here, we take to market.
They need extra time in the day to discover their passions, to explore the world around them, spend time with their friends, problem solving, engaged in team efforts, and really testing the skills that they learned during the school day and from their family and parents.
What do you guys think? It's 4:49.
What we really need to do is take the best of the after-school field and bring it together with the educational field and create a rich learning environment where youth are wanting to learn all day in different ways, in and out of the classroom. So this convergence is occurring around the country where the out-of-school time field has been tapping community expertise and also tapping teacher expertise and mixing them together.
The language we use and the activities that we build in are all focused around algebra.
Maybe working with Save the Bay and getting them out to, for example, URI's biomedical program, their oceanography program, so that students are actually learning, but in the context of where that work can really take them. But it also gives them some ideas around career choices.
It's engaging families.
When it's brought at this level, at the district level, and it becomes systematic, it's sustainable. Everyone understands what the goals are. It's also important for accountability. There has to be an accountability on our part to ensure that what we are doing for students actually is results driven.
So where do you think it would live?
In the water.
This expanded learning through the planning process has linked what's going on in these programs to what goes on during the day. It's linked to the new core curriculum that the district has, and it's linked to what is expected during the day. It's not the same, it's different, and it really excites principals and teachers because the students are excited about it, and it's really developing the whole child.
Well, one of the fundamental thought process is that even when we met last time was the stewardship.
Right. Throwing out trash. I mean, all these different things that you'll see pictures in newspapers. Yeah.
Planning is absolutely essential if you're going to actually identify some main ideas and skills that you want kids to learn in a defined period of time.
Narragansett Bay, and how do we, how, are we good stewards?
Yep. Or even what are the relationships between humans and Narragansett Bay?
Right.
How can I become a Bay citizen?
Irresponsible. Yeah, I like that word, responsible.
You had all these different educators in a room who educate about different things in different ways, but they were all passionate about youth, learning these bigger concepts.
I think the important thing to realize for community educators is that it's not about replicating what's going on in the classroom, not focusing on core content in the same way, but giving young people an opportunity to practice what they're learning in the classroom, as well as building and developing and supporting those key academic skills.
What are we looking at? No. Regular weather. Yeah, that's a little bit of plankton.
There are two types of plankton, and what are they?
I worked with Save the Bay, and the lead educator was just superb in the way she brought it all together for us.
So what is our reading for the top of the water?
So the use that we had this summer left us really with a good knowledge of what, for example, salinity was and density was, brackish water, where they would get to hear about it in the classroom, but the fact that they actually went out and took water quality samples, and they took them from different parts of the bay, and they were able to actually do the work themselves. I think they took away a greater understanding of those basic concepts that would just be normally taught in the classroom.
They had this knowledge from the word list, going to the beach, looking at the water, feeling it. Many of the kids tasted it and connected to the word list. It's brackish. Well, that's what we said before we got here. So again,
one of the big questions I get as a math teacher is when we do, a lot of the basic algebra and Why do I have to learn this? I'm never gonna use this. And in our group, they calculated how many gallons of water fell in a couple of rainstorms that we had on the city of Providence. So they had to calculate through, without use of a calculator, into millions. And they were stunned by the numbers, but also by how easy it was to get there. They were using scientific notation, but I didn't introduce it and say, okay, we're going to use scientific notation.
And what color is chlorophyll?
You could talk about careers, what people had to know, what kind of education they needed. And those are all opportunities that if we could work more into the day-to-day curriculum that we deal with, it's more reality for the kids. It's something they can latch onto and say, okay, yeah, I may need this math.
The fact that they weren't confined to one chair in a classroom and they were able to self-guide themselves too and find their passion in what we were doing and take that interest and explore it even further really gave them an opportunity to take ownership of the material that they were learning.
How could you get the heat to go from the greenhouse into here? Raise your hand, raise your hand.
I'm working with the Aperon Institute for Sustainable Living. Our overarching mission really is to help people connect their lifestyle choices with the environment that we live in and kind of identifying how those things are related and those impacts are related.
So if we pulled all these windows down, all the heat in there would rise to the top of the greenhouse and travel over this way into the house. Is there water? No. You don't do any flushing with this toilet.
Del Sesto collaborated with Aperon, and I was able to take away a lot of hands-on science experiments that had lots of math and English embedded in those. We all took that and took what was a raw product and fine-tuned it into something that had a solid academic base that met the standards and the grade level expectations.
In this house, the heat is coming from a form of electricity that gets its energy from the sun.
When we had teachers and community educators working together on a project which blended disciplines, blended English language arts and mathematics with the science exploration in a community setting, it was magical what happened for the adults in that exchange.
It was a perfect example of community organizations and teachers and school departments working together really with the child's best interest at heart.
To actually learn how to expand the activities that I'm doing and to see a math teacher be able to tease this math problem out of an activity that we were doing that I've done 1,000 times before, but actually have the students wanting to know what that final product was.
I've seen some really good teaching this summer without having it look like teaching.
This opportunity has actually renewed my faith in education and that there is still an avenue for creativity and academic freedom.
Just because a child can't learn in a certain type of venue, that doesn't mean that that child can't be productive and contributing in a different one.
The fact that wasn't happening before was a loss, so this is a huge step, I feel like.
They could go through it and then go to their spawning grounds to make babies.
Expanded learning is essential. I don't think it's something that's an add-on. I don't think it's something that is a luxury. I think it's absolutely essential for us to have those opportunities, not just this district, but for districts around the country.
So what else did you see at the Eco House?
We're very fortunate at the Providence After School Alliance to have over 60 community educators that are involved in our programming. And when I'm with them, I learn something new every day because of the passion they have for their field, be it ceramics, be it filmmaking, be it welding, or be it science and environment. And they have figured out what skills they need to do to get there. And they're so generous in wanting to share that. So I think when we engage them in our after school and expanded learning programming, we're going to get a better educational product for our youth.